Hello friends, in this video tutorial, let us see the concept of SSAS cube translations. So for the purpose of this video tutorial, we will use the cube that we had developed in our earlier video tutorial. So it has got two perspectives, okay. So now let us go to the next step, that is translations, right. So over here, we can create new translation. Let us say we create translation for the language. Let's create for French and let us create it for Canada. Okay. So now we are ready to create translation for French Canada. We will just put some sample values over here, maybe not that meaningful, okay, but with the help of these values we will understand the concept of translations. Okay, so what we will do is we will translate some of the major group names and maybe some dimensions or their attributes, okay, and we'll write the strings that we want as translations for those major group names or dimension names. So right now for French Canada, what we are doing is we are just taking the major group names and we are just putting Canada in front of it, right? That is, we are putting the word Canada in front of it, just to observe whether translations are happening or not and how they happen. Okay, what is the effect of these translations? So I am renaming internet sales to Canada internet sales, sales amount to Canada sales amount, internet sales count to Canada's internet sales count, reseller sales to Canada reseller sales. Similarly, I will put Canada in and then the remaining string, right? I will remove the sales amount. So sales amount dash retailer sales now becomes Canada reseller sales. Okay. Similarly, let us rename this to Canada reseller sales count, Canada reseller count. Okay. Now let us rename dim customer to Canada customer. Let us rename dim product to Canada product. Okay. So we are specifying to SSAS what we want as when this particular data is translated to Canada French, right? Or sorry, to French Canada. That is French language inside Canada, right? So let us add one more translation. Let us this time select English India. Okay. And let us put the word India in front of all these values. Okay. Just to understand the concept of translations and to understand how and what impact it has, okay, during display of the data in when we browse the cube. So now we are adding the values for English India translation. Okay, and then we will observe by going to the browser tab of the cube, we will observe how these values have an impact, right, while we are seeing the data inside the cube. So we have saved everything. Now let us deploy our cube. So the deployment is successful. So now let us go to browser tab. Let us reconnect. And now if we change the language, okay, if we change the language to, let's say, English India, then we can see that whatever translated values we had specified for major group as the names, right, those are visible now. Okay. So if we drag and drop any of the measure group values, then at the top the column names are displayed as the translated column names, right? Also we can see that the dimension names are changed, right? Dimension names are like Indian employee, Indian customer, right? Indian product. So these are the dimension names. They are now translated ones, right? So Indian product, right? We had not changed the attribute names. We have translated the dimension name. So Indian reseller name is present now, right? So in this way, when we are browsing the data of the cube, at that time the column names that will be displayed will be translated ones, right? Similarly, if we change our language to, let's say, French Canada, then we can say that the measure groups are now translated. Okay, the values that are shown as measure group names and the measures are now all translated. Even the dimensions are now changed, right? Dimension, like we have got Canadian reseller, Canadian customer, Canadian employee. Also the measure group names are like Canada internet sales, Canada reseller sales, right? Canada sales amount, right? Canada reseller sales, right? So all these are now translated names that are visible when we are browsing the data inside the cube. So that is how it has got an impact. So when the language selected is different, okay, and if we have specified the translated values for that, then it will show the translated values. So I hope friends this video tutorial is useful to you. Thank you.